Provincial Route 26, Pinghe Highway, is the only roadway connecting Kending to the rest of Hengchun Peninsula. However, the frequent power outages here due to strong seasonal winds and typhoons greatly raise the risk of deadly accidents.
I moved to Centennial 26 years ago. We regularly lost power during typhoons, sometimes our internet and phone too.
In response, National Premier Su Jianchang called for the already approved 10-year power cable undergrounding project to be completed in just 6 months.
This improvement project was approved with a completion period of 10 years. As Premier, I've asked this project be finished not in 10 years, but within 6 months.
The tight schedule, high summer temperatures, and high vacation traffic volumes made the Premier's request a tall order to fill. Can it be done? Its thriving economy and scenic attractions make the southern city of Pingdong a world-class travel destination. Pinghe Highway connects Pingdong both to Kending and the Southern Cape, and to the country's Pacific coast. This highway, used by over 10,000 travelers each day, will soon become the stage for a project that many thought couldn't be done. Mount Dawu has long been Pingdong's sacred mountain. Since its completion in 1938, Gaoping Bridge has brought eager job seekers and tourists to the Hengchun Peninsula. It was near Mount Dawu in 1991 that then Pingdong magistrate Su Jianchang launched a tree planting program which transformed county roads into green corridors. However, today, the mature trees now compete for space with highway power lines, which are also highly vulnerable to typhoon and wind damage, causing power outages with wide-reaching effects. Super Typhoon Meranti hit the Hengchun Peninsula in 2016 with winds over 300 kph, wreaking havoc across southern Taiwan.
In 2016, Typhoon Meranti brought down over 400 power poles in Pingdong and cut power lines at over 3,000 locations, damaging 148 transformers and other equipment, and cutting power to 380,000 customers. We finished all repairs within a week and mobilized 650 Taipower staff nationwide to work on restoring power to the entire county.
Pingdong is Taiwan's southernmost county. Generally, half or more of the 25 or so typhoons that cross Taiwan each year on average affect Pingdong County. This often cuts power and telecommunications, making outages a fairly regular occurrence. These problems inspired the Highway Bureau's Pinghe Highway Cable Undergrounding Project, which aimed to replace above-ground power lines with 141 kilometers of underground power cables from Shuidiliao to Fenggang along Highway 1 and from Fenggang to Hengchun along Highway 26. Also, new trees and bushes on median islands along the route would be planted. Beyond the practical benefits, the project would give travelers new unblemished views of the coast, delivering an aesthetic upgrade and boost to the peninsula's tourism economy. The primary goal of the Ping'e Highway Cable Undergrounding project was to relocate main power and telecom cables underground. As this was something we at the Highway Bureau were not particularly familiar with, we drew up a plan for cross-agency cooperation that included our Bureau's 3rd Division, Taipower, Zhonghua Telecom, and the Pingdong Traffic Police Brigade. Everyone pitched in to help. With regard to division of responsibilities, after we at the 3rd Division had dug the necessary trenches, Taipower and Zhonghua Telecom laid their cables and ran a battery of tests to confirm that the new cables operated normally. They then pulled up the above-ground poles and removed the wires. After that, we laid the asphalt concrete. So each step was linked to the next. Time was of the essence, a precious commodity. We took the first step by digging the necessary trenches. Taipower, Zhonghua Telecom, and the police brigade handled the second with cable undergrounding, and we took the third by pouring the asphalt concrete. We then installed trees along some road sections and did some additional road beautification work. Each step in the process was critical. Every task posed an extreme challenge, and there was absolutely no time to waste. The official plan was to finish the project before the busy Lunar New Year break to minimize the impact on holiday travel. But that would require completing all work in just 6 months. When I received the project, my first thought was how to organize subcontracts. After talking with our team, we set Shuidiliao as the divide, with subcontract 1 covering southern to northern Pingdong, and subcontract 2 covering Shuidiliao to Chaozhou. However, it was subcontracts 3 and 4 that posed the biggest challenge. The entire 112-kilometer length was divided into 15 to 20-kilometer sections, which were packaged into 4 subcontracts to ensure everything was finished by year's end. The Bureau's 3rd Division chose to divide the project into 4 sections to meet work deadlines. Although contractors stepped up quickly, a raft of challenges stood in the way. There were shortfalls in manholes, handholds, and other critical materials that, if unresolved, would throw everything off schedule and possibly lead workers to quit the project. In response, Bureau Division Chief Wu asked Taipower and the 4th subcontractor to a project coordination meeting. However, because the issues touched on non-engineering issues as well, the meeting couldn't achieve a breakthrough. It was fortunate then that MOTC Deputy Minister Yen Bo-chun willingly stepped up to lead the project at just the right moment. Traveling over 1,000 kilometers round trip from Taipei to oversee the situation. His twice-monthly site visits ensured work proceeded on schedule, and the project would be completed on time.
We hit a bottleneck almost immediately. The man and handholds hadn't been delivered. The workers and equipment were all on site, but there was no work to do. That's when I took the initiative and asked Taipower President Yaoting Wang to come to Chaozhou Pingdong for a meeting. I think President Wang appreciated our sincerity, and so committed Taipower to supply the man and handholds needed for the project, and to maintain supplies on site sufficient for 2 weeks of work. Taipower's help securing manholes, handholds, and other materials allowed project work to regain momentum, with project teams working full tilt to make up for lost time.
This project involves undergrounding over 40 power lines, so the more lines you have, the deeper you have to dig, and the deeper your trenches are, the more difficult the work is, and the more safety issues you face. To meet these tight time deadlines, we had little choice but to start early, work late, and return home well after dark. We worked rain or shine. We were like 7-Eleven, always on the job, working to stay on schedule.
Southern Taiwan is a sun-baked hothouse in July. But project teams have no choice but to sweat it out and continue working. It doesn't take much to succumb to heat stroke. Heat stroke, while slowing work, can't completely derail progress. However, a typhoon alert would grind work to a halt. Project managers have little choice but to squeeze as much extra work in beforehand. Fortunately, although bringing heavy rains, this typhoon didn't make landfall. Work pressed on despite the downpour in order to make the 6-month schedule. But heat and weather weren't the only challenges. Summer is peak travel season in Taiwan, and a time when many vacation in the Hengchuan Peninsula. The heavy traffic volumes lead to long backups and hot tempers.
Shuidiliao is where Highway 17 merges with Highway 1. Fenggang section south of Shuidiliao is a heavy traffic area, and on weekends and holidays, the two roads converging here at Shuidiliao regularly jam up traffic all the way to Fenggang. Keeping traffic moving thus took on an equal importance. The Highway Bureau and Pingdong Traffic Police Brigade drew up a plan. The police committed to increasing on-duty officer numbers and establishing offset lanes to help keep traffic flowing. Halting construction work on holidays and implementing offset lanes significantly improved holiday traffic flows on Pinghe Highway.
We thank the Pingdong Traffic Police Brigade for their assistance with traffic control. July marks the start of peak travel season, with consistently heavy south and northbound flows making things even more difficult on road crews. We gratefully appreciate the county government and police bureau for their strong and timely support.
While helping ease traffic jams, stopping project work on holidays led to serious delays in project progress. To bring work back up to schedule, project teams would need to begin working around the clock. However, the new non-stop schedule was not enough to catch up. Our 4 contractors had 26 teams working on this project, but we quickly realized that the amount of work they finished each day wouldn't be enough to reach our target for the end of October. So after close discussions with our contractors, they increased the number of active teams to as many as 52. With the extra manpower, these 52 teams got the project back on schedule. With the infrastructure now installed, the Bureau handed off to Taipower the job of laying new power lines. which involved wiring cables through the new pipe network and hooking up Taipower customers, before finally removing the now redundant utility poles. But one more thing needed to be done before the switchover. At the stroke of midnight, streetlights and roadside shops suddenly went dark. The darkness of Linnuo section of Highway 1 was pierced only by the flashlights of over 100 Taipower technicians, busily working to switch homes, shops, and other customers over to the new underground power network. Along this 3-kilometer section of highway alone, more than 1,000 customers needed to be switched over within 7 hours, with no margin for error.
We're constantly racing against the clock. There's little leeway in the schedule, so we worked 8-9-hour days at a minimum and stayed on the job no matter how late, until our assigned task had been completed. Our team was brought in to help lay the new cable lines. So, we did a lot of crimp welding in hand holes. There's not a lot of room down there, and the welding is often done above head level. So while welding, it's hard not to grime up your hands and pants. It's not only the poor lighting, but also because working at night is more nerve-wracking. Before going up, our team leader reminded us, standard operating procedure is to always first check the line with a voltage meter before stripping the wire and completing a new connection.
At dawn's first light, the toll on Taipower workers was hard to miss. But the concerted effort had managed to restore power a full 1 hour ahead of schedule. Drivers navigating morning rush hour had little clue that the power line undergrounding project had been completed a mere few hours earlier. With a successful switchover, work to remove the utility poles could begin. In the 2 weeks remaining, 2,000 Pinghe highway utility poles would need to be removed. Removing over 100 poles a day called for yet another Herculean effort.
Why extension cranes? Because their long reach gave them access to all of the poles in the area and reduced removal time in half. Based on this, I estimated we could remove 120 to 150 poles per day, which would let us finish removal work on time. Initially, everyone, even my wife, thought it wasn't possible. Even we felt it probably couldn't be done. But my philosophy is that if you believe something to be impossible, you're thinking yourself into a foregone conclusion. Why think so much? Just go ahead and do it. Different Taipower district offices were assigned each of the 4 subcontracts. One subcontract was headache enough. Assigning one to each district office meant that everyone would be working together to move the project forward toward completion. From the start, we were concerned that because of rushed project planning, we'd likely overlook things. So a liaison staff assigned to each subcontract coordinated communications among line staff, 3rd Division contractors, and our Taipower contractors. Inspection staff assigned to each subcontract would also notify 3rd Division contractors immediately about line-related issues. I authorized these inspectors to upload photos directly to workgroup chat rooms, where our design team could then directly approve changes to plans. This allowed real-time response and expeditious problem resolution. My best memory is probably the time after they removed the first utility pole. On my way back to THSR Zoying Station, there was still trench work being done, and workers were still busy. Seeing them there on my way back north, the feeling finally hit me. We might really be able to pull this off.
When we saw the disordered hodgepodge of cable TV lines strung along those utility poles, I didn't know what to think. But now, we've removed them all. Some people that came out before dawn saw what we'd done and said, "Much cleaner. The poles are gone. This place looks really nice." Like that. It made me feel good. It made me feel like the hard work had been worth it.
We expanded the Zhonghua Telecom team from 20 to 91 direct employees, and increased our contractors from 4 to 9, and contractor staff numbers from 20 to 97. This gave us over 180 staff altogether. Contractors contributed based on their respective specialties. If A was proficient in cable laying, and B was good at connection reconfiguration, they'd be tasked accordingly, laying cables or reconfiguring connections to reduce implementation time. The Pingdong Traffic Police Brigade took advantage of the project to install a new uninterruptible power supply, UPS network, and AI-enhanced traffic light system to further improve traffic flow and safety.
Working in traffic control planning, I feel our focus should not be on reducing the officers on duty at any given time, but rather on creating a long-term plan that efficiently reduces traffic congestion using less manpower. As part of the highway tree planning project, we installed AI-enabled cameras to collect inter-vehicle distance and congestion data for use in optimizing traffic light timing and transforming Pinga into a smart highway.
We're making history here, promoting national prosperity and the public good. We are building for the future, and if successful, this will be the model for highway power cable undergrounding nationwide. It starts here in the Southern Cape, from south to north. We are all working together to finish this historic precedent. Keep going strong. Thank you.
With the cables now laid, the Highway Bureau's 3rd Division again took charge to lay new asphalt and beautify the road environment. Work to relocate cables below ground had taken a toll on road surfaces, leading to bumpier rides for cars, motorcycles, and other vehicles, and inconveniencing local residents who use the highway on a regular basis. Thus, the 3rd Division made it a priority to give road surfaces a new layer of asphalt to improve everyone's driving experience. At the time, I'd planned to be 50% finished by the end of November, but then we learned the public had even higher expectations. So we reviewed project plans and asked our contractor to add another asphalt concrete AC team to get the job done sooner.
They notified us that work would start on September 12th and end on the 15th of November, but they finished up pretty early. It's the 11th today, and road surfacing work ended yesterday. I noticed they were working pretty much around the clock. They finished scraping work in just 2 days. They went south one day and north the next, starting at 8 a.m. and working into the night. We closed up shop around 10 p.m., and they were still out there working. They maintained that pace, and all the poles were gone in 2 months. Really efficient.
November brings autumn and cooler temperatures everywhere in Taiwan, except for the tropical Hangchun Peninsula.
Our work days are 12 hours at minimum. Laying AC is challenging because the material is hot, 100 degrees or higher. It's a pretty detailed job, and we really hope people are happy with our work. It's truly a lot better than before.
Steam rises from the newly laid asphalt concrete. Work teams are holding to schedule, unwilling to fall even a little behind. The installation of road reflectors marks the end of the 4-month cable undergrounding project. It's 8 a.m. on November 24th, and we've just finished laying all 128 kilometers of our asphalt concrete. We finished this up 6, nearly 8 weeks ahead of schedule.
It was truly a moving sight, November 24th. Early morning, still the middle of the night. Houses were darkened and quiet. The whole area was silent. The road was empty except for our workers and the asphalt pavers moving steadily forward, laying section after section. It was a moving sight. By the time dawn arrived, the entire road had been paved. This mission impossible had actually been achieved.
As most Highway Bureau staff are engineers and unfamiliar with trees, the 3rd Division turned to the Taiwan Forestry Research Institute for help.
We selected 5 native tree species, including chinaberry, bishopwood, the oil nut tree, tropical almond, and sapotacea. Our approach was straightforward and simple. We wanted to use native plant species suited to local conditions. Of Taiwan's many climate zones, the one where Ping'e Highway runs is the worst. This is because of the strong, dry, and warm wind that pummels the area every year between October and April. Most plants from elsewhere in Taiwan simply won't survive, so we had to make judicious choices. We felt that plants adapted to harsh conditions, if properly chosen, would be able to do well elsewhere as well. The 112-kilometer Ping'e Highway runs from Gaoping Bridge through Chaozhou to Shuidiliao to Fenggang. All all the way down to Erluanbi. Although it's only 112 kilometers, each section has a very different environment. So we took a sectional approach and chose native plants for each section. To make sure they would do well, we did test site surveys first before large-scale planting.
Over 700,000 new trees were planted, with each tree and each sapling rigorously selected. The numbers of trees provided by TFRI and Taiwan Sugar, while huge, were still not enough.
We accepted the request with mixed feelings. You don't let trees you've been with for 2 decades go without some trepidation. But we told ourselves that this relocation would ultimately be better for them. So we decided to let them go. To lend their beauty to the roadway, give cooling shade, and transform the entire experience. So, while sad, we agreed it was, overall, for the best.
Third Division colleagues turned to suppliers further north for additional supplies of bishop wood, tropical almond, and sapataceae, as well as the bushes needed for median islands. The mature chinaberry, bishopwood, and oilnut trees being planted here were all carefully selected by TFRI. Each had been prepared for transplantation 2 to 3 months in advance, with root balls used to ensure tree health.
My responsibilities at the 3rd Division Cover Maintenance work on Highway 26, and for the beautification project, I was responsible for scenery improvement, basically, installing plants and trees. We did site inspections of project trees to make sure they met our needs. Before digging up the roots, we clear away weeds from the soil surface, mark the perimeter with powdered lime, and then start digging. After digging to the required depth and size, we trim the roots to cut away breaks and tears and smooth things out a bit. Then we apply fungicide to prevent damaged roots from becoming infected. We also apply a root regulator to promote healthy root recovery. Once that all is finished, we're ready to wrap the root ball, after which we refill the hole with soil and tamp it down firmly to support our stakes. We affix stakes to the tree at least a third of the way up the trunk to prevent tilting. After this is all done, we allow the tree to rest for 2 months. Because of damage to the root system, trees are less able to draw water, so we irrigate regularly to compensate for evaporation and the risk of trees dying before we're ready to plant.
When we got this assignment, I naturally felt mixed emotions. How could we do something this big in such a short time? It will be challenging for sure. Also, Shuidi layout to Fenggang is a truly scenic stretch of highway. So choosing trees to complement that scenery would also not be easy. Readying trees to be moved involves first selecting which side will face the road, and then trimming branches. Trimming is necessary to minimize moisture loss. So after trimming and other work, trees can be loaded onto trucks and sent to their new home.
The new root growth already showing, tells us these trees will be ready to take up water and nutrients after transplantation. To ensure their safety and beauty, the sapotacea, silk floss, and ping pui trees, originally lining Ping'e Highway, were temporarily relocated to Mount Dawu, Shitoshan Park, and Pingdong Veterans General Hospital, a further reflection of the 3rd Division's forethought and thoughtfulness.
After replanting, we conducted an on-site inspection, during which trees that were not growing well or had broken were replaced.
Before median bushes can be planted, the weedy soils currently there must be removed and replaced with an appropriate sandy medium.
Soil for plants, if it has enough organic matter to supply plants with what they need, it will definitely influence their future growth and survival. That's why we put so much attention on this. In terms of soil assessments, the contractor, supervisory agency, and we went to where soil was being brought in from. The supervisory agency would take a sample, about 1 bag's worth, around 1 kilogram samples, and send it off to certified labs at either SGS or NCHU to verify the quality of the soils we were getting.
Once finished, jungle geranium, redlip, Texas sage, and other showy bushes are ready for planting.
I live in Kaohsiung City and have always enjoyed my motorbike ride into work in Pingdong. I notice the change in scenery every day, and the mahogany trees and jungle geranium make the entire stretch more beautiful. Renovating the worn brick sidewalks gives the road a fresh new look, and for us retailers, really upgrades the overall ambiance.
Our survey of the 112-kilometer Ping'e Highway project area found the road passed by 6 large cemeteries. We decided to screen these from the road using hedgerows of Podocarpus costalis conifers. We're deeply grateful to MOTC's Highway Bureau for bringing Thai Power, Zhonghua Telecom, Taiwan Water Corporation, and us together as a team, allowing us to accomplish the impossible in such a short time, and create in the process Taiwan's premier scenic highway.
The 3rd Division deserves much appreciation. Without their good work on the pipe network, we couldn't have installed new cables and finished the whole project in 6 short months.
The Highway Bureau's execution of this project was exceptional. They responded quickly and effectively to issues raised at every meeting and played a crucial role in getting all parties working as a team. We wouldn't have succeeded otherwise. The Highway Bureau's execution was exceptional. I am grateful to them, truly grateful.
I think that, for so many things, we as managers should lead by example. So, as I mentioned, this project occupied our every waking moment. I think my attitude toward this project led my colleagues to step up their game as well. I'm so appreciative of my team. Absolutely no one complained, not even a little. It made for great team morale. As for our project partners, Thai Power, Zhonghua Telecom, the Traffic Police Brigade, and others, I think they saw how serious our 3rd Division was pursuing its responsibilities and were inspired to do the same. So, we're well aware that all of our project partners focusing their expertise and effort on completing this project was crucial to achieving these results.
One takeaway from this project is the importance of finding the path to success and of not making excuses for failure. We must use whatever means at our disposal to help ourselves, to help our team, find that path to success. If we can handle it ourselves, then we'll do our best. If we can't, then we'll ask others to help. We all know life is short, a matter of decades. We can accomplish only so much in that time. At the end of the road, which achievements will be worth your mention? Which will you retell eagerly in vivid, abiding detail? I trust today will be remembered as one of these rarefied moments. Thanks to all who helped in this achievement. Today's ceremony is for you. You have contributed to the national good and created wonderful memories in the process. You've made Taiwan better, made the nation better. You have replaced power lines with greenery on the Southern Cape scenic Ping'e Highway. I bow in your honor. Thank you.
It's an honor to be here today, to witness the realization of this Cable Undergrounding Miracle Project. I've experienced the warmth of your teamwork and the power of shared interagency purpose. Looking back on our work, my entire team is now well tanned, and our engineers have a lot more gray hair. Persevering against exhaustion and illness, I thank you all for your dedication. Let me now submit my report to our Premier. Premier, sir! Hongshin Construction has accomplished its mission! Thank you all! During the first week after the July 1st launch of this project, I already felt like there was no way. Luckily, the Chief of 3rd Division stepped in and resolved a huge materials issue. I want to especially thank Chief Wu's team. They worked with us pretty much daily to overcome all manner of problems. Thank you, Chief! I'm also particularly happy because my father is in the audience today. Hi, Dad! I'll always remember your concern for me, but I'm now able to report, Dad, your son Atun did it! Thank you, everyone! We are grateful that the public, and area businesses in particular, didn't make any trouble for us. Why not? Because removing the power lines and poles was set to make driving more pleasant, raise the value of their shops, and beautify the environment. I am grateful to the residents of Ping'e Highway for their emotional support and encouragement.
I wish to thank in particular MOTC Deputy Minister Chan, Director General of the Highway Bureau Chief Engineer Mr. Dunn, 3rd Division Chief Wu, and all officials for the support and guidance that made this mission accomplished possible. Landscapes free of utility lines are no longer just a pipe dream. We have truly achieved the impossible and returned to all Taiwanese our country's most scenic roadway. Thank you.
With spring's arrival, trees along Pinghe Highway bud with vibrant new life, thanks to the 3rd Division's continued efforts. With project work now a memory, fresh new scenic vistas await every eager traveler, inviting them to slow down and enjoy. After half a year of concerted effort and working against the challenges of time and inclement weather, the 3rd Division's Road Maintenance Department has something truly remarkable to show you: the longest green highway in Taiwan. Looking ahead, the Highway Bureau's engineering team looks forward to using this experience to promote powerline undergrounding nationwide to create urban landscapes that reflect both power grid resilience and green aesthetic charm.